And congratulations to Brett Bolton, David Eustace, Jack Wallace, Caden Beasley, Kevin McKee, Landon Utke, Liam Cunningham, Malik Jones, Declan Farmer, and Jen Lee. You are really an inspiration, and thank you very much. It's an amazing, amazing achievement that we'll never forget. And it was a record. Something nice about record performances. It was a record. It's one of the highest pleasures of the presidency to be able to support our nation's best athletes, and that's what they are, and celebrate the champions of Team USA. Under the Trump administration, we're doing everything we can to protect the cherished sporting traditions that have long been part of our nation from the beginning, right from the beginning. And already we've done a lot to help save women's sports, and we're also saving college sports. We're in the process of working very hard. We had a bad judge's decision, and a judge that knew nothing about sports declared sports unconstitutional. Can you believe it? And we had to come and put something together, and we had the help of so many great people. They all came together, and we have a bill right now that we're trying to get passed, and if it does, we'll be bringing sports back, and you'll all be protected, and your sports will be protected, and frankly, women will be protected, because with what happened, that was the worst thing that happened to women's sports. You understand that, and we're working very hard with a lot of great people. Nick Saban, as an example, was so instrumental. Andy Levine, he's the president of the New York Yankees, and just so many. They all came together, the Big Ten, the SEC, and what a mess it was, a court case that was a disaster. And why they didn't appeal that case, I have no idea. I won't ask about that, but they didn't appeal it. Some genius said, let's not appeal it. And that was a perfect case to win an appeal, but the people that were running things did not appeal it. So foolish. But we have it going, and we're very close to a deal that will be terrific, I think, and really save college sports and save colleges, if you want to know the truth. The money that was being spent because of this ridiculous decision that was made. But the collegiate athletic system is the engine of American Olympic dominance. And, you know, you produce the great Olympians. They really can compete in college and all sports, every sport, producing 88 Team USA athletes for the 2026 Winter Games alone. And to that end, I am urging the House and the Senate to come together, bipartisan if possible, and it looks like that's what they have done, together and send the bill to my desk. I will sign it immediately, done by some of the greatest people in sports, and I think we have no choice. We have to get that done, right? We have to get that done, and if we don't, we're very foolish. Nobody knows what's going to happen. We're in Never Never Land, and we're not going to let that be happening. We're just not going to let it happen to these great people and others, but we're not going to let that happen. I know many of the Olympians here today are already training for the next Winter Games, and 8 years from now, who is expecting and hoping to be in the next Olympics? Because, well, we're going to run that good like we did the World. Good. That's great. That's great. Well, we're going to do a real job. You know, we had the greatest, most successful, the FIFA, the World Cup was the most, and I want to just pay a special thanks to Andrew. You did a fantastic job, Andrew Giuliani. Great job. It was like a flawless thing. It was 4 times more successful than monetarily and every other way. I think other ways even more than that. But it was, well, thank you. But we're going to do it again now for them. We have to do it again for them. So we're going to make this one of the best, maybe the best. But that was the most successful World Cup they've ever had, by far. They actually say by 4 times greater. I said, let's do it again in 4 years, but other countries had problems with that, right? But in 8 years from now, some of you may even have a chance to compete on American soil on the 2034 Winter Olympics, where it's going to be in Salt Lake City. And of course, and that'll be great. And of course, we're all looking forward to the 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. So we got a lot of action. We have a lot of action going, so it's really going to be something, and it's going to be well run. It's been well run, just like FIFA. We didn't have a problem. It was so smooth. All of those games, it was sort of like they said, having a Super Bowl every day, and actually in some cases having about 4 Super Bowls a day. But it worked out so flawlessly. We're very proud of it. And so I want to just once again thank everybody representing our nation so incredibly and setting all of those records, because many of you set records. Setting a record is a big deal all those years. And you showed the entire world that the Americans really, they know how to fight, and win, and you can do that better than anybody. And I'm going to be watching you again very soon. And now, let's have 2 of the Team USA's flag bearers, the great flag bearers, this past Winter Olympics, come forward for a special gift presentation. One of the most decorated Paralympians in U.S. history, a phenomenal athlete, Laurie Stevens, along with U.S. Army Sergeant and bobsled team member, a great talent, Frank Del Duca. Do you know Frank Del Duca? Where's Frank Del Duca? Is that Frank? Come here, Frank. Strong, very strong hands. Great. Would you like to say something, please?
Mr. President, my name is Frank Del Duca, and I'm joined here with my teammate, 6-time Paralympian Laurie Stevens. We had the unique privilege of serving as Team USA's flag bearers at the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games and Paralympic Games in Milano Cortina. Thank you for welcoming us to the White House. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for your support of America's Olympic and Paralympic athletes, and for helping to celebrate the movement that unites and inspires so many across our country. On behalf of Team USA, we would like to gift you these keepsakes. We hope you'll wear them proudly as you continue to cheer on Team USA.
I will be. Thank you very much. USA. We're going to do something a little special. If you can get down, we have some really beautiful coins. I love coins. I always love coins, but we have the best of them. We're going to give everybody here a very special coin. And if you can, you'll get down and I'll show you the Oval Office. You'll like to see the Oval Office? I don't think there's a little many of these. And most of them I just want to get out of there. Some of them I like, some of them I don't like. Some of them I love, and some of them I don't like so much. But they all come here. We just had the Dodgers. They were fantastic. The Super Bowl winner. We have everybody. And this is one of the great honors. And really, you're tremendous athletes. I mean, to do it 6 times. How do you do it 6 times? That's a lot of heart. That's a lot of heart. So we're going to come down to the Oval Office together. We're going to take one picture here. And then we're going to present you all with a very special, really something that you're going to like, a coin, but very special coin from the White House, okay? Thank you. Does anybody not want to go to the Oval Office? Great job. Great job. Let's go. We'll do this. Come on.
Right up here, everybody. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And one more. 1, 2, 3.
I'll see you down at the Oval, okay? We'll see you down.